So I know a lot of people have some struggles with selling Go High Level, and what I want to show to you right now is the McDonald's method that I came up with. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you what the McDonald's method is because it's going to make complete sense here in a minute on how to sell Go High Level, be paid up front, get paid to build out a proposal, qualify your clients, and make the client actually want to buy rather than feel as if they're being sold to. So, what the McDonald's method is picture McDonald's, okay? McDonald's is not a restaurant company. If you think that they are, you're wrong, okay? What McDonald's really is a real estate company that just so happens to sell food at their locations. And so when we think about selling Go High Level and the client or the prospect on the other side is you want to get them to want to buy rather than be sold to. Okay. So the reason why I bring up the McDonald's method is because the shift in your mind and your customer journey when selling this Go High Level solutions will make complete sense for your client in a logical standpoint that they want to start buying from you rather than being sold to. And they're the ones that are going to follow up with you. They're the ones that are going to contact you. They're the ones that are going to, beg really to work with you. And so what that looks like is what needs to happen is that shift of getting people to want to buy from you rather than being sold to. And so you have to create value up front. And so I made this graph right here. Okay. This is my sales process. And this is extremely, extremely simple because one, you get paid up front. Two, the client is now logically thinking and they're wanting to buy from you rather than you trying to sell something to them. And it all starts with getting everything mapped out. So what I do is I set up a 15-minute qualifying call. Okay. They'll text me. I'll find them on Upwork. I'll find them on Fiverr. I'll find them on Reddit. I'll find them on LinkedIn. I'll find them word of mouth. However they come to me is I always start with a 15-minute qualifying call. And that qualifying call, again, goes back to this McDonald's method because you start to ask open-ended questions. And the goal of this call right here is to always close them on a $500 paid item or a $99 paid item. I'll get to that in a second, but the goal is to just get them interested. One, it saves you from wasting time, energy, follow up and trying to sell your item or your product or your service or whatever to them. Okay. So you want to understand their business. Every single person, no matter who it is, myself included, they want to talk about themselves. So give them that power up front. The first question that I ask going into these calls is, tell me a little bit about what you got going on. That's it. And I just sit back and I listen. And they talk for 15 minutes. Okay? No matter what they say, listen. If you need, take a notebook, write some stuff down. But you always just end that phone call with, I think I have an understanding of this. And what I suggest that has worked for many of my clients is we build out something that I call an automated operations framework. Okay. This now eliminates you from trying to pitch what your services are. Most agencies go straight into, hey, we have this. It costs, you can buy plan 1, plan 2, plan 3 for, $1,000 a month, $500 a month, $200 a month, whatever it is. And you're trying to sell them. And you don't really fully understand their business just yet. And so when you go into this, you can start to get them to think logically. And what you tell them is, look, for all of my successful clients, what I've done is I've built out an automated operations framework. And it does two things, Mr. Client, right? And now you can start to shade on other agency owners, other companies. And so you bring up something like this, and I can share these documents with you. This is from a company that I worked with. And what we do is we build out your customer journey. Each customer journey has a pipeline stage, and each pipeline stage has a corresponding workflow stage. And what inside each of these workflow stages is you have a trigger, a goal, and a what needs to happen. And so what this allows me to do for you, Mr. Client, is it allows me to give you a price, right? So this is where you get them to shift from you selling something to them getting to want to buy from you, okay? Most business owners, most of your prospects, they're talking to other people. They're looking for the best deal. They're looking for someone that understands their stuff. And what they really, truly deep down want, they don't want someone that they're just going to hire and make a transaction. They want a partner. They want someone that they can trust, and they don't care about the price, although they'll tell you that. But once you go through and you start to show them this gives them an option and an out. And that out is, if you do not start with this, you will not get your end result. And what that looks like is, when you're in the conversation, you say, look, this gives you two options right here. One, it allows me to come back to you, Mr. Client, and give you a price. Because as of right now, we've only been talking for 15, 20 minutes. I have no idea what it is I need to build. I don't know what API connections. I don't know where we're going to put AI. I don't even know what systems you're currently using. Like, there's no way that I would know, so I couldn't give you a price. You can use a little bit of a metaphor to hone in on this, and that is, look, what if you wanted to build a house and you went to a developer, and that developer said, yeah, I can build a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home for you. It's going to cost $350,000. It's like, how do you know that price? Like, what finishes am I going to get? Am I going to have granite countertops in the kitchen? What appliances will I have? What kind of cabinets am I going to get? What kind of windows am I going to get? All that. Like, there's no way that a developer could do that. They need to sit down and they need to build out a blueprint of what the house is going to be with a budget, right? So you come through, and on the call, this is what you build. This is it. Like, you literally just take screenshots of their screen, you organize it, you just have a conversation, and you revert back to this pipeline stage. Okay, you get a new lead. What's the trigger? Are you running ads? Do you have Google ads? You're getting things from Thumbtack. You have people calling you, right? Okay, the goal is you want to get them on a call or through text to sell a booking or a cleaning. This was for a cleaning company. And then what needs to happen? Okay, well, if you want to add AI, the AI chatbot on the website widget, conversational booking, blah, blah, blah. And you just go through this and you just get really, really good at this, okay? And Mr. Client, what that's going to turn into is it's going to turn into what we need to build. We're going to have the different goals, the different outcomes, the challenges that you're having, and then we're going to organize this in a document of how this will be built in a CRM system. You never even have to mention go high level. You don't have to mention any of that, because now they're just focused on this blueprint. Now, back to the McDonald's thing, is that you are now getting paid $500, $1,000. You can charge whatever you want for this. And so the McDonald's example is that you just happen to be a consultant upfront that just happens to be able to build whatever it is they need to build. The same way that McDonald's is a real estate company that just so happens to be selling hamburgers at their restaurants, okay? So if you get really good at this, here's where the numbers come into play. If you get 10 meetings to build $500 AOF documents like this, you now have a $5,000 a month business, and you haven't even done any of the work. And so at that point, out of 10 people that pay this, you will have someone that says yes, and you can charge $10,000 for that. But you still made $5,000 up front before you started working with anyone. And so this strategic blueprint, it filters out who's serious and who's not. And you get paid before any of the work begins. And essentially what this is you're being paid up front to build out a proposal. So how many times have you gone and you've built out a proposal and then that person doesn't become a client, right? You spend hours doing this. Well, at this point, this does two things. You tell the client, and you're only closing this section. You're only closing this on the 15-minute phone call. And you get really, really good at that. And what that looks like is, look, Mr. Client, if you're going out and you're speaking to other agency owners and they're not coming back with this, how would they know what the price is? Now, if they have a standard 3-tiered product thing. They're making you conform into what works for them because they have it figured out. So if you're an agency owner that has that right now, this is $197 a month, this is $297 a month, this is $697 a month. You're just selling something. You're not getting the buyers to want to buy. You're getting the client to want, you're trying to sell something to them, and people don't want to be sold to. So when you take a little bit of time and you build this out, now you can have a standard approach to your products. You can just have the conversation flow in a way that will turn out to be what they want, but it's customized to them, right? And so now you are making $5,000 a month because you are selling 10 $500 documents, and each one of these builds, let's say, I think this one was $13,000. We know that at least at minimum, if you had 10 and you made $5,000, one of them is going to say yes to a $13,000 build. And so now your job is no longer working in your business, but working on your business, and you're shifting to how do I close more people to build out, to get more of the 10 people instead of one to say yes to a $13,000 build. And so this is the McDonald's method that I have been using for the past year that gets every single person, every single client interested and moving forward because they want to work with you, because you are now no longer seen as just a guy that they're going to make a transaction with. They're looking and seeing you as a true partner in their business, that they need this stuff built. You've built trust. You're not selling to them, and they want to buy. And what happens is that the money at the end, when it becomes $13,000 and they start to see this document, they start to see this and they are like, wow, $13,000. But if I spend $13,000, if you did this correctly and you go through the sales process, that $13,000 is going to bring me $200,000 over the next year, because now their time is no longer spent in working in their business. They're working on their business because you helped automate it. This whole thing right here, this is the sales process. A 15-minute call, you close them on an AOF $500 document, right? And that document is what you get really, really, really good at. And right here, if they don't want to spend $500, keep it moving. They don't need to be a client of yours. You stopped them before you started doing any work. And so start out charging. When I started doing this, I created this myself, that this is what I've been doing. I started out at $99. Then I raised it to $150. Then I raised it to $250. Now I'm at $500. I'll start to raise this to $1,000. And so when you get to that point, if they give you pushback, you can say, look, it's risk-free. If we decide to work together because I don't know of a price, I can take this $500 off. I can take this $1,000 off. I can take this $99 off. So now it becomes a no-brainer offer for them of, wow, I need this in order to build what I need to build. You can also mention to them that, look, this conversation that we're having, you might have had 10 of these with 10 other agency owners, right? You no longer have to have this conversation. What I encourage you to do is take this entire document, delete my price from it, and then go and shop around and figure out what they can do and how much they would charge, right? In my experience, 9 out of 10 times when you say that, they are already loyal to you because you've helped them build this. They trust you, they see that you know and understand their business. And so what happens here is once they go through and they purchase this document, you build this one with them on the phone, right? This is just chicken scratch. This is you and a conversation just going through and building out what it is, right? Now I record these and then I take the entire transcript. I run it through AI. AI helps me build out some of this stuff. But our team helps manage all of this for me. So this is what you do in that this is what they pay for. They paid $500 to go and sit down on a 45-minute Zoom call, and I go through and I write and handle all this out. I tell them, look, it's going to take me about 5 to 6 days, maybe 8 to 10 hours to go through, and I'm going to create something like this. And so then I come back to them, and the third phone call, is right here. The client pays. The second call is to build the document. The third call is we present this with the final quote. And then if they move forward, there should be a line here. If the client does not pay, it should go over here. But now the client moves forward, they pay, and now you charge the monthly reoccurring revenue, and you now have a client who has become a partner who is all in with you. They are like, yes, I want to be a part of this. They are begging you. They are texting you. There is no such thing as, hey, I'm just following up to see what we want to do. You don't have to follow up because they have skin in the game. They want to see these documents because they paid for it. So you don't have to have any sort of follow-up. It's like, hey, there's no more, hey, do we want to move forward with this? No, they already know they want to move forward with it. And on the third call, you're just closing them. And that is where the monthly reoccurring revenue happens. If they paid the $500 and they say no, they left with this entire blueprint. That's it. You ended right there. If they say no up here to this, you just saved yourself a ton of work because they weren't going to work with you anyway, right? And so when this is what happens to me is, and this is a post that I posted yesterday, is that when they get to this spot, some clients might have some doubts. They might think it's expensive, blah, 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 but they will work and they will go and they will communicate with other people and they will come back to you. They will come back to you and say, hey, I like what you did. I spoke with 20 other people. None of them compared to what you did. And I have trust in you and I want to work with you. And then inside your own agency, you can just come up with like a 30-day follow-up sequence. Hey, how'd everything go? Did you guys get that built out? You just remind them. No, they did, or yes, they did. No, they didn't. And you just get them back into the buying sequence right here. And you just present this and you give them the final quote. And this is how you stick to the McDonald's method. The McDonald's method in the agency world is you are a consultant for $500 that just happens to be able to build custom software for them. You are no longer needing to sell custom software. They naturally just flop into it because they see with the capabilities of what you're able to do and how you understand their business. And what most business owners are looking for, they don't know what they don't know, but what they are looking for is they don't want to get burned. They want someone that they can trust, and the money does not matter. Because if they have an operating business, $20,000 to build something out that they know is going to bring in $300,000 in the year or $1 million in the year, this is where you now can start charging more and more and more because you've become a consultant. So I hope this helps everybody, watching this. This is the real method to being able to sell Go High Level when it comes to custom software, SaaS software, and things like that. So I hope this helps and enjoy.